Let me move this for you, buddy. You're doing such a good job. Hi, Paul.
Well, hi, Meredith.
Oh, hi, Dave.
Hey,
Are you
Dave.
enjoying your lunch? It's the lunch hour at Wonder Fair Home Shopping.
Mm-hmm.
We're here with Dave. He's our currently under the circumstances of the coronavirus COVID-19 epidemic. Dave is the only employee currently coming into the shop just to keep everybody as safe as possible, and he's going to enjoy his lunch with us.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we don't have a third backup to toss him treats cutely, he is receiving the slow feed flamingo method.
Thanks to the Sandbar for
Thank you to the Sandbar in
gifting us
Lawrence,
this
Kansas.
slow feed flamingo.
Bet y'all thought that flamingo was only for pool drinks.
Nope.
But in fact,
Cat
there's
feeder.
a even more wholesome purpose. So,
Cat feeding.
cat feeding. All right, well, we are back with our afternoon broadcast of Wonder Fair Home Shopping, where we will be bringing you the local news, maybe some wistful nostalgia,
Yeah,
definitely some stationary shenanigans.
for sure.
Show and tell, cat flamingo, cats and dogs living together, 6 feet apart,
Mm-hmm.
Wonder Fair Home Shopping.
And it was a
about
big
to get
morning.
wild. Oh no, he did it! Honestly, that was
Well,
probably the goal all along.
What a smart guy.
He's so smart.
I don't know that he's that smart,
I
but-
just want to check on it.
Okay.
Just make sure it's okay.
Well, it has been an eventful
He's
morning
loving it.
here at Wonder Fair. It started with me spilling an entire carafe of coffee on the computer, but it's okay. It's one of those new MacBooks, and I really hated the keyboard. But today, that keyboard probably saved the day because it's got some protection from liquid, so
Not a problem.
it's still working. We're broadcasting from it.
Computer's
so
still rocking. Takes a
That's
dipping,
great.
keeps on ticking.
That's great. That was one not so bad thing. You want to talk about what happened with our e-commerce site? You want to get into some details there?
Everybody, we are not a internet place, which we've complained about before to the point of being like a little bit whingy about it. So I just want to give some real facts about adaptation. Today, we opened our e-commerce site to discover that overnight, by magic, thousands of products we didn't want on the e-com were showing up there, and they were just ticking up, like from 500 to 1,500 and up and up.
More getting added by the second.
It felt like a real Matrix moment, and now we have to painstakingly remove all of those, but we did get to the bottom of it after a very exciting and friendly conversation with our Canadian support team. So thank you, Canada, for helping us solve our e-commerce glitch. And
It didn't affect your experience at
Yeah.
home. It's just
this
a
is
real
behind-the-scenes stuff.
pain in the ass on the back end.
You said ass.
Yep, that's pretty light.
That means that's the only curse word you get to say. I would
I
have
think
chosen
that
more
one.
wisely.
I think you can do that one on broadcast.
No.
FCC approved.
Wow, but you don't like the FCC. You think they're jerks.
I mean, I think words are words. Whatever.
Words are words, everybody, and internet is internet, and you know what? There's so many benefits to it. Parts of running an e-shop are actually really fun. We've been having fun decorating people's packages to ship them out, so that's enjoyable. I've always loved mail. Yo,
Dave is back.
sup, bro?
Big leap up onto the
That was
table.
such a good jump, my bro.
Wow. I just got to watch the replay here on the live.
So let's just talk about Dave for a second.
Okay.
I don't know if it's what the people want on a home shopping channel, but the fact that Dave has just leapt over 3 feet to this desk is incredible, because after his car accident, which brought him to us years ago, they thought he couldn't jump, which is why we were offered him as a cat to a stationery store, a store that famously sells paper cats want to lay on and art supplies cats want to eat. And delicate ceramics cats want to knock off of stuff. So they were like, this cat can't jump, not a problem. But observe, he can jump. He jumps capably, and he's a gentleman about it. And when he jumps, he doesn't do any dumps. He just gently paws around everything and looks for the treats you've left behind and exits gently, as you've seen. So props to Dave, man. Way to overcome adversity, bro. All right, Dave is left. He's probably heading off to his post-snack nap, which leaves us alone to talk about shop stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, as you've probably come to expect, I went on a little journey of my home this morning to find show and tell for you.
We've been starting with show and tell for the past couple days.
I missed show and tell from my youth.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm here for a show and tell movement that will inevitably emerge as we're all in our homes.
Now let me throw something out there, because we've been having this conversation at Wonder Fair for a while, which is how to bring a 24-hour community event to Lawrence.
Oh,
and
that's a good one to workshop now.
Yeah, it's a good one to workshop. And this would, of course, be saved for when we are back and able to gather again as humans in a single location. But, you know, a 24-hour event, sort of like, you know, there's like a Moby Dick readathon, or My Brother Lives in Providence.
That's a real thing, by the way.
That's a real thing.
That's taken. So that can't be your suggestion.
That's not ours.
And Moby Dick doesn't have a lot to do with Lawrence, Kansas. It's not like culturally relatable.
Yep. My brother is each year is part of a 24-hour Bach marathon, where people gather in a church and just play Bach for 24 straight hours.
Dave's into that one.
Yeah, Dave's a big fan.
He likes classical music.
So we've been kind of trying to brainstorm what kind of 24-hour event to bring to Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the ideas that have been proposed: 24-hour city commission meeting.
We think that one would be. We would give the commissioners like shifts so they don't all have to sit there all 24 hours. Ideally, we would like this not to be a complaints-based city commission meeting, but like people have to sit in front of the city commissioners for 24 hours saying nice things.
Maybe you have to say nice things.
It's an only nice feedback 24-hour city commission meeting to make up for all the other hours of city commission meetings that they sit there and have to absorb more hard feelings, which are justified but probably very unpleasant experience.
Grace brings up the Gilmore Girls dance-a-thon as another good example. Yeah.
The Gilmore Girls famously had a 24-hour dance-a-thon, a very charming and apparently very real thing many cities did. Requires a lot of closeness, but seems like people managed it.
Mm-hmm.
So we were thinking, we had a few ideas.
We're taking ideas, but some of the best candidates we have so far are...
They're not at the top of my mind, but they'll be at the top of yours.
Talent show.
Okay, 24-hour talent show.
You get 3 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever. It's got to be simple. You just got to get up there and do it. Mm-hmm. No big setups. Mm-hmm. But that's one idea. Mm-hmm. To sign up for time slots in advance. It would be great to see all the cool stuff people can do.
Mm-hmm. Did you get on this idea track because we had discussed a 24-hour something we were talking about earlier-a-thon?
I don't know.
Oh no!
I got
on
this right now because you were doing show and tell.
Oh, 24-hour show and tell.
Because show and tell is, of course, one of the options here. That could be real fun. Just see what people love, things people have. Hear the backstory. I'm into that. Another idea:
24-hour supernatural television show marathon, which could be expanded into like 7 days because that show's been on so many seasons. And as you probably know, the main characters of Supernatural were apparently born and raised in Lawrence, Kansas, according to the fiction, unless it's a nonfiction. I don't know the facts.
We don't know.
But anyway, so yeah, Supernatural marathon.
I think that's been on for like 15 seasons.
It's a long
there's
show.
How many? Each episode's an hour.
Now, so
if each episode's an hour, I don't know. That could be like almost 2 weeks.
Anyway, Supernatural marathons on the table. We feel like there's a lot better ideas out there, like just 24 hours, everybody knits one really long scarf.
Wow.
You could learn to knit. And then we could
knit
wrap
to Topeka and back.
What if
in
we
24
did,
hours?
We're not leaving Lawrence.
Okay.
What if you then wrap the knit scarf around that weird communications tower across from the library?
Okay, this brings up another thing
And
I
then
wanted
we
to I've been
slide
meaning to
hot
talk
dogs
about
down
is
it.
who can get me into the communications tower.
That is a goal.
Just leave me a message, send me a text. I really got to get up there.
We got to get up there.
Not during the pandemic, but eventually. It's not that urgent, but I got to get up there.
Wonder Fair always has a lot of to-dos.
Grace suggests 24-hour Nerd Night talk. I think that could work.
Whoa.
There's definitely been 24 hours of Nerd Night programming, so why not just do greatest hits? It's a full 24.
I like that idea.
Everybody already wrote their talk.
I mean, we could actually do it digitally as a first run, dry run during the next couple of months, online. Get that sense of community spirit.
Yeah, we're looking for ways to transform the tower. We have multiple ideas on that. Not ready to share, but
Shall I get that?
I guess maybe you should tell them to call back.
I'm gonna get it.
If you're calling now,
BRB.
Call back. We don't have anybody here besides Dave at the moment, so hard to take the calls. I know Meredith has some show and tell planned. If you liked any of those 24-hour marathon ideas, feel free to let us know. We want to know what the best one is right now. Would you rather have show and tell, supernatural marathon? What were the other ones? Talent show, Nerd Night, 24-hour Nerd Night, City Commission meeting. Let us know your fave, and we'll start to think more seriously about how that can happen. We'll do it at Liberty Hall or something like that. Keep it comfortable, have beer. That's the only way we're really going to get through something of that magnitude. Let's see. Since Meredith's taking an order right now, is what it sounds like, I think I'm going to do a little unboxing. It's a little off topic for the show, but Silmarillion says Kate Meyer, speaking to my heart there. I'm not sure there's a great Lawrence connection, but boy, that'll put folks to sleep. And Joy Wah brings up the census, which is great. Tomorrow is Census Day, so fill out that census, mail it in, or you can do it online, I think. I have not confirmed that, but I keep seeing posts about it, so I think it's a real thing. But make sure you do it. That really does, particularly in Lawrence, affect a lot of different things. Affects the amount of money we get from the federal government for all sorts of things. So be sure and get counted. Yes, confirmed. My 2020census.gov. Grace D. Chin says she did it online. I'm going to pop off screen to grab a box. So I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Okay, special unboxing. Yeah. This is a box I've been waiting on for a minute. So if you folks have been downtown at all in the last 8 months or so, 6 months, you know that we recently opened an extension of Wonder Fair, the Wonder Gallery. And as part of that shop, we have a fine selection of art books, some ceramics. It's just a fun little vibe. It's a little bit more, heavily focused and curated than our store here. A little bit easier to shop sometimes. With art supplies, there's a lot of stuff. So we just got some really fine books in the back there. And eventually I'd love for you to come down and check them out, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. But for now, you can settle for checking out this shipment, which would have been destined for that store, but instead we'll be putting it up in our online store. Now, we've got lots of great art books there. And I wanted to bring in some fun design books as well. And so this is a cool little publisher out of New York called Standards Manual. And what they do is they publish, or republish rather, design manuals. And so what we have here is the Environmental Protection Agency design manual, design standards, graphic standard system. This is probably from the 70s. But these are beautifully done books that give you an idea of how a design system gets created. You know, here's your envelopes. Let me get to some big. Here's just like a header page. Boy, I'm having trouble with this book is big.
Ooh,
here's a look at a little brochure.
Hit me, I'm back.
I want to get to like some really good. There's just like straight color swatches here, meant to be cut out and used
is this the EPA
as a
book?
color test. Yep.
Yep.
Don't even know what that is. Technology transfer identifier. What's that? These are
secret stuff.
There's some photos in the back related to something. There's more swatches. Yeah, and here we get into some of the more brochure design kind of stuff.
So, Paul, are you saying that with this manual, I could set up my own farcical EPA that uses the same design guidelines as the real EPA?
You absolutely could.
Wow.
You absolutely could, getting into some logo stuff there. But, you know, a lot of design guidance. So for any designer, it's just really helpful to see how to build that kind of system and the kinds of information you want to include if you are doing branding for a company. Just helpful to see it done in such a robust way. It comes in this beautiful slipcase and then packaged more exquisitely in another box that's
this is a real
screen printed box. I mean,
thoroughly packaged book.
It's beautiful. So that's the EPA standards manual. We also have one from NASA that comes in an amazing foil case. And this is the one I'm really excited to put up in our online store. This one's new to me. This is a publication of, it's less of a standards manual and more of a look at, you should see this box as it opens. Check this out.
You're a natural.
Wow. Parks. So
scrap. Sorry, it looks backward on my screen.
Yeah. So this is a beautiful cloth-bound book of design and related ephemera from the National Park Service. So inside we're going to see beautiful images of vintage maps, brochures, just first page in there, some beautiful brochures. Colorado National Monument. There we go. Canyonlands, Pueblo Bonito, all these brochure covers. This is just sort of like a graphic design orgy here. There's all sorts of pullouts.
Wow.
Wow. Meredith can't believe it. Her eyes are bugging out. Wow, wow, wow.
I love it when you get free gifts in the box.
Free gifts. Man. So if you're interested in national parks or design in general, this is just such a great collection of vintage stuff, beautifully presented, beautifully bound, printed in Italy. Wow.
It's so pretty.
We're going to get those up on the website momentarily. That's new to the store here. So you'll be able to find those on the wonderfairhomeshopping.com in just a few minutes.
Is that going to have graphical standards for those really beautiful national park signs that are always shaped like a funny loaf of bread?
It will like not. It's less of a standards manual and more of just, you know, like collection of vintage printed materials. So won't quite have the same type of content as the EPA manual or the NASA manual.
That's still good.
The NASA one is live now if you want to check that out on wonderfairhomeshopping.com. And I'll have the other two up in just a sec. Just got to receive them. I was checking to make sure we got what I ordered.
Yeah,
so
good job.
4 of the parks, 1 of the EPA. It's there. You can buy it. You can pick it up right here at Wonder Fair. We're here for it. That's a really good one to browse and think about all the adventures you might have this summer when you can travel again. And I went to Yellowstone last summer.
I know, I'm so jealous.
It delivered.
Wow.
The
water just shoots out of the
Has
ground.
there ever been a park that's been more hyped than Yellowstone? Probably not.
Central Park.
No. People are not like, you gotta see Central Park.
Yeah, they are.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay. In that case, I
There's
think
a zoo in it.
Okay, really?
I believe that's accurate.
Could be.
I saw it in a movie.
Well, regardless, Yellowstone
It's better.
really delivers. I couldn't
Sorry, New
believe
York.
it. I definitely recommend it. And, you know, it's one thing that really, you know, makes the country great.
So it's definitely not a big green screen with a Thomas Moran painting
No,
on it.
it is
people
not.
just selfie in front of. It's real.
It's a real park.
That's incredible.
You can drive through it. You can get out of your car. You can walk around. We saw a bear from really far away.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't hear the bear part.
It was very far away.
Well, it's still cool.
People are like, look at that bear.
I bet people who see bears all the time think this is really wholesome content from some non-bear seeing Kansas.
The funniest thing was we were on one trail and there was a big old buffalo.
Whoa.
A huge buffalo. And
seen them before.
Yeah, but this was up very close and it walked onto the trail and one of the people with had to basically like hold the little girl back from touching the buffalo. He was like, "No, you don't want to do that." Mm-hmm. And we had gotten ahead of the buffalo, and there were these other people coming, and they were saying like, "Oh, what's going on over there?" And like, "There's a buffalo on the trail. You probably can't go down." And like, "Have you seen a bear?" And I was like, "Yeah, from far away." And like, "We really want to see a bear." And I was like, "But there's a really cool buffalo right here."
People don't know what they're missing.
The buffalo was amazing.
Buffalo are very.
The bear was very small.
We're from Kansas, so we have a lot of buffalo sightings.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm back. I want to report my huge success that I just helped a very kind person get a refill for their Otto Rays pen.
Oh, we got the Otto Rays refills.
We'll just
They're
drop it
back
off to your house.
in stock.
Yeah.
We were out of stock on the Otto Rays refills.
It was
for
a hot minute.
At least a month. People were calling. People were in the store like, "Where is the refill?"
It was a hard time, but not this hard. We didn't even know how good we had it.
Life at the stationery shop.
We used to just wish we had refills. Anyway, so that was a huge success for me. And now I'm back to share my show and tell at last.
Okay.
Okay. So we moved last year and I haven't fully unpacked. It has literally taken a year. We spend a lot of time at Wonder Fair, our home away from home. But so I'm somewhat limited in scope of my vintage art supplies, but I did have accessible my collection of extremely beautiful antique dip pins.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. I only brought a few because
the most beautiful
and interesting ones because they're quite easy to find, at least in this region, in antique stores, often in the little nooks and crannies and boxes that are down deep on the shelves, or in those spinny bins where you push a button and it goes, shows you all the bad watches. Every now and then, amidst the ugly watches and brooches, are dip pins. So I'll put a close-up photo of these on our Instagram later, but for now, what I'm showing is a lot of dip pins in the time where they were the only pins. And
back in the day.
Back in the day, it didn't mean you could just like leave your house. Unlike Gracie Chin revealed yesterday to our delight and horror, who just leaves pins uncapped in their bag, wandering about the wilderness. Even in the olden times, folks tried to keep their inky pins off their things. So these dip pins, many of them are designed to be retractable, which is so cool.
Are you kidding me?
Most pins today are two parts. They're a nib and a body, and you slide them together, and then you can dip them in ink and write, and then dip and write and dip and write. This pin, instead of a separate body, you can still pull the nib out, but if you want to retract the nib for travel, you just pull it down, whoop, and then it's in your pocket, and you can't bend your nib when you're out and about. And it just keeps everything a little tidier. It's quite firm, so not the easiest to slide up and down when you're a little extra sweaty under the studio lights, but it does the job. I'd ask you to help me, but I'm a liberated feminist, and I will do it myself.
You think you can maybe lubricate that? Yeah,
I should probably do that. A little bit of oil would not hurt. I don't want the oil to mix with my ink though, so you have to be very careful in doing that. Also like pressure, and might just be a little stuck from me doing this a bunch this morning. But anyway, know that it exists. Here's my favorite retractable dip pin. I found this one in Massachusetts near Paul's hometown. Norwood, Massachusetts.
Hometown of Dickie Barrett from the Mighty Mighty Bosstones.
Wow. That's a big pull. Good job. This one is a carved bone handle that is made to look like a unicorn's horn. So it has swirls around it.
It's quite nice. I know you can't see the detail at home.
You can see it in an Instagram photo later. And it has a much more smooth glide on the retractable nature. Ooh, ooh. And then you just dip and go about your business. I also have one that you can't see it all on screen, but I just wanted to show this one. It's the longest nib I've ever seen.
I can't believe it. That's like an inch and a half on that.
Wildly long. It is made by Eagle, who we talked about yesterday, who's an art supply company that has been sort of absorbed by many others in the
And is that extra flexible? What do you think the reason is that so long?
Well, this one actually feels quite a bit firm.
Okay.
It's a bit firm.
Big ink capacity?
I'm not sure what benefit there would be to this. And it's unfortunately rather rusted. So I can't read about it, but I will try to do more research down the line. My other dip pens are somewhat flexible. The unicorn is a bit flexible. It would definitely make your writing look très elegant. This currently hard to unretract pen that I pushed down a little too far. It has an architect's nib, which is a special kind of nib that kind of has like a bottlenose coming out the bottom and helps you write in more different directions, as well as creates like an interesting line quality. There's much more to it than that, but we're not doing nibs today. We're just doing retractable pens. I mean, we might be doing nibs.
Yeah, you'll have to tune in to another episode to get any info on nibs.
Yep. Get dibs on nibs. So last but not least, I have this really unusual. I don't know if this is unusual. It's unusual to my searches. It's a folded metal nib pen. Another name for these is witch pen, as in like witch who's gonna like do a spell and probably save the world. So this is a witch pen, but it's probably 100-year-old, I would guess, maybe a little less, because of the shellac on the wood, and the brass is like looks a little bit 1930s to me. But it's basically a folded piece of metal that's used to make really wide lines. So particular graphic designers and illustrators before digital era, when they needed to make wide lines for grocery store signage or any kind of advertisement that wasn't laid type text, like movable type, if they're illustrating by hand, these folded metal nibs would have been used to make the bigger text. So this is a very cool one.
Yeah, is that an interchangeable nib too, where you could swap that out? Or?
You know, I haven't tried to see. I think this one probably tweezes out and you can fold back in.
It comes out.
Yeah, probably. A lot of folded pens are actually made from aluminum cans. You can find lots of sources online for making your own at home. You're just going to cut open a can, fold it, stick a stick on it.
Don't cut yourself.
I mean, I don't know, maybe dip blood ink. Nope. Don't do that craft. It's not that kind of witchcraft. It's a witch pen, everybody. So carefully cut open a can, fold it up, stick it on a stick, dip it in some ink, and you're writing. You can make pens out of pretty much anything, everybody. If you can stick it in ink and plop it on some
paper. Let us know what kind of pens you've been making at home during the sequestration.
Yeah, we might get wild on some pen crafts later.
Yeah.
So those are a few inks, pens I brought in, dip pens. We, of course, sell many dip pens in the shop. I will say none of them are doubles as the unicorn horn. But don't
there have been some advancements, and sometimes things aren't as good as they used to make them. And
I do have one that kind of looks like a unicorn.
Okay, well.
It would be this glass dip pen. I don't think it's on the website.
Wow.
Sorry, I just think it's pretty. So metal dip pens have some engineering in the metal tip that allows ink to stay on. It has surface tension adjusted just to the right level where the ink stays on and flows out really smoothly. But you don't really need all those bells and whistles. Like I said, any stick will do. If you want to write with
any
ink.
Stick will do.
Any stick will do. But
earlier today, they chopped down a tree in front of Wonder Fair. Plenty of sticks out front if you need a stick.
Can't believe you dropped that horrible news in the middle of my show and tell.
I mean, I don't know if it's horrible. I know like trees are great, but This tree might have been sick.
It seemed kind of sick on the inside. It had a big black hole in the middle.
So maybe we get a cool new tree.
Yeah.
We're gonna lobby for a Christmas tree.
Yeah, permanent
Christmas tree.
Okay, so this glass dip pen is made in Italy, so it has like a beautiful Murano glass vibe. It's a little bit glittery inside, and it does have a unicorn horn vibe. But a glass pen is going to have a few rivulets, not unlike a bulb of garlic, that are going to hold the ink and funnel it down to the tip, at least if it's well designed. And glass pens are nice because unlike these pens, which have a lot of intricacy and ink can go and clog it up in places, a glass pen is pretty straightforward. It's a single piece of glass blown and twisted. So when you want to clean it up, you just zoop, dip it in some water, wipe it off. Nowhere for the ink to go. It's clean. It's a great way to sample ink colors without making a mess of your fountain and dip pens. So glass pens are cool.
Do you think that we could maybe write with a bulb of garlic?
Wow. Well, let's try it tomorrow.
Okay. Cool.
I think that would work. You just probably need to like maybe burn off the tip so it like was a little less porous. I guess I should point out that if your writing tool is more porous than the thing you're writing on, that's going to get weird, but not bad. Like do you remember when people sponge painted their walls and thought it looked nice?
That was a thing.
That was a thing. Is anybody at home losing their minds to the extent that you're sponge painting your walls?
Quit right now.
Call for help. That was a weird time. I mean, it probably looked good in some places. I fondly remember a sponge painted wood chest my mom made look like a stone with sponge paint.
Wow.
I guess that's like a theater set. Anyway, we digress. Glass dip pens. Back to pins. So that's a glass dip pen that
easy
we
to clean.
Put on the website.
We use them here at Wonder Fair to test out some inks sometimes if we're doing a little bit of ink testing.
So let's say that you've chosen to, instead of a pen, use a sloppy, messy sponge to make your art at home. It's just too inky, folks. You're getting a lot of ink on the page, and it's not drying as fast as you'd like. Paul, how would you handle that? You got too much ink going on.
Well, I don't know. I guess you just sacrifice your sleeve and just smash it down on the page to suck up the ink.
A lot of people have ruined a lot of nice shirts that way because they assume there's no way to deal with overly inky text. But we're here to tell you that there's a better way. It's called a blotter.
Wow.
Have you ever seen one of these? This is from my vintage collection. It's a super long blotter. This is like an all-night safety blotter. Lots of absorption here. I will say this is an example of a blotter where technology has actually improved. I didn't bring a new blotter down. I goofed that one. Well. I'll go get one later. So a blotter is essentially a piece of wood with a curved bottom that will rock along your page. And it is securing a group of sheets of blotting paper that are slightly absorptive. Usually the handle is going to twist off. So you can pull off the handle of your blotter like so. And then this piece that's holding the paper on can come off. Let's say you really inked up the last blotter page. You're just going to pull it right off. That's the inky page. Get rid of it. It's done. Put your blotter back together. Donezo. Isn't that fun?
Back to blot.
Back to blotting. Fun fact. If you find antique and vintage blotters, you can actually remove them. And you can put different kinds of you could glue on curved rubber carved rubber that you've maybe made a linoleum cup with, and you can make stamps out of these, and they make great rocker stamps as a retrofit if you're not out there inking everything up and needing a blotter for ink removal. But obviously the way you'd use it if you were doing ink removal is inky stuff, blot, blop, rock, and it pulls the ink off so that you can more quickly turn a page and not get any kind of smudging.
And it won't smear at all? It
won't smear at all. That's the purpose of the rocking action. Unless you're feeling extremely jittery, a lot of shakes, in which case maybe get some potassium inside of you, eat a banana, and then try again when you've calmed down. But that's a health tip. They were out of bananas.
Bananas and blotting.
They were really out of bananas at Checkers, but I heard that they got bananas again. So
bananas are back at Checkers, folks.
I should be doing good soon. I'm actually pretty good today, I have to say. So anyway, blotters, they are just like a fun tool. You'll find them at antique stores a lot because generally they're not in use now. They often come in antique desk sets where you'll see inkwells, boom, inkwells, pin rests, and blotter as a set. So, fun fact, if you find any cool ones, let me know. I probably want them. So we sell blotters. If you are a person who's getting into doing ink calligraphy at home, you might want one of those, especially if you're a lefty and you're having some smudgy problems.
Yeah.
Or if you live in a very high elevation and things dry slow. Is that
Lots
the way
of great reasons.
works?
Lots of great reasons to have a blotter in your life.
Yep. So food for thought.
And we do sell them. They're not on our website. Just give us a call if you need a blotter.
Yeah. So that was my show and tell. Did you like
great.
it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm always excited to find dip pins in the wild. It's very easy to do. They're mostly rusty. There's a very hot second-hand market for vintage calligraphy nibs. On eBay, people pay exorbitant prices. There's no reason to do that. Nibs are still being made, and they're mostly just as good, and they're much cheaper than buying antique nibs.
Are these specialized nibs that people are paying the big bucks for?
The antique nibs are sometimes somewhat more flexible, although they certainly make flexible nibs now. It's just
Harder
people have gotten used to certain nibs and want to keep buying what they're used to, but if they're no longer manufactured, nibs don't last forever. They do get worn down and generally can't be resharpened. So it's a depleting resource. And if you find a cool old box of nibs, you should hoard that. And give it to someone you love who loves pen and ink.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Paul, do you have anything to add about blotters generally before I talk about the next best thing to witch pins?
Yeah, I guess I would say, I mean, I don't have anything to add to your vintage haul, but I would say if somebody at home has gotten turned on to the idea of writing with one of these old-fashioned implements, what could they do today if they were unable to source such eccentricities from the comfort of their own home?
Yeah, maybe you're not all up in the eBay right now. Maybe you just want to buy a new product that someone can talk to you all about. It's us. Give us a call.
Or that's not rusty. Even.
Yeah, you don't want them rusty. Though that could create some cool effects in your ink. It probably won't be archival. Many dip pen inks are archival. Fun fact. So we have all kinds of calligraphy supplies at Wonder Fair. This I will put in a cloud is a new product I have. It's specifically for dip pen inkwell that has two parts. There's a cone of glass that sits inside an inkwell. So you put your ink inside there. And then the cone helps you more easily insert your dip pen nib perfectly and rest it inside your well without flicking out and making a mess. And it's designed to ensure that you have the maximum amount of ink for every dip, while also having a nice place to like slide off extra ink. It's just a really nicely designed, it seems like it would be an antique, but it's just still made today for the few calligraphers out there.
Just a hunk of glass that they're still making.
Yep. It's a good price too. I don't remember it because I didn't put a price
tag on
it.
Do you have to cap this at home somehow, or you just leave it in there?
Standardly, you're only going to want to decant an amount of ink for your dip pen practice that you're going to maybe use in the day. And then if you have a little leftover after you've done most of your artwork, you can use like a bulb syringe, like a pipette, which we also sell. They're very cheap, and you can suck the ink out you didn't use and put it back in your bottle and cap your bottle. So generally, like while you can cap an ink bottle, anytime air is getting to your ink, which is going to be happening more when you've decanted some, it's just not as ideal for your ink. It'll probably be fine, but you don't want it to oxidize much. You don't want it to grow things. So you want to keep your ink bottled up with as little air exposure and as little light as possible, lest it start growing mold, which can happen. And then your ink's stinky.
So this is how, if you have a big old bottle of ink, you're just going to want to pour it into there if you're using a dip pen rather than just dipping right into the bottle.
Yeah, you know why else?
Why else?
Well, do you remember what happened with your coffee this morning?
Oh, I spilled it all over myself.
What if you had just decanted a small amount of your coffee in a little cup
and
then knocked that over? Much more.
There you go.
Mo better.
Less ink
all
down. Over my pants.
So you could definitely dip in a huge bottle, but when inevitably something goes a little kooky, like your cat comes to hang out and swats it, or I don't know, you sit up from the table and bump it. You don't want to lose this all on your carpet, but if this fell over on your table, that'd be fine. It probably wouldn't even spill out because it's designed not to spill. So, fun fact. This Noodler's ink Nightshade, one of my favorite colors, is of course also a fountain pen ink, but can be used for dip pens, and I use it all the time for my dip pens. It is very beautiful in shading, and it's kind of spooky. What am I saying about it? Why is this bottle designed like this? Oh, because when you're filling from a fountain pen, you want a slightly different bottle shape than you would use for a dip pen. Different strokes for different folks. What an applicable phrase.
That's right.
It's so applicable because, should I show all of the the calligraphy kits we've got?
Let's see what you brought on.
I'm just going to do a really cool movie magic slide across. We've got this
into
calligraphy
the frame. Here we go.
Starter set. That one's from Antiquaria. They're calligraphers who made their own kit to help you learn to be one. This is a more mass-produced Bell calligraphy kit that includes everything: dip pen, ink, exemplars, everything you need. We've got a speedball kit. That's also got everything you need, including instruction and some ink and some pens. Very efficient. Those are all on the slightly higher end, but you don't have to break the bank to break out some calligraphy skills. We've got these two little cheapy sets under $20.
$11.95.
One's for an oblique calligraphy pen. One's for a straight calligraphy pen.
$16.
We often like oblique strategies here at Wonder Fair, but I've actually never tried an oblique calligraphy pen, even though that's what the pros use. So we can go into that more later. But we got lots of those, and we can hook you up.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I want to say about that for now.
That's great. I'm adding both of those. Oh. Or wait, I don't know. Were all of those on our website here?
Who knows?
Definitely these smaller ones. I'm checking right now to see if you're at home, you can just go to wonderfairhomeshopping.com and see. I'm adding a couple of these to the As Seen on Wonder Fair TV section of the website.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to find them there. But all of our calligraphy pens and sets like this are under the creative materials section.
Mm-hmm. I would like to do to interrupt this calligraphy pins programming, even though I have one more calligraphy thing to talk about today that's like products related, and I'm going to teach more about pens and inks and learning to hand letter. But I just have to break in with some important news.
And what's that?
Are your chair's feet not cat feet? You're doing it wrong. You should buy this set of 8 tiny socks that go on the feet of your chairs and turn the legs of your chairs into cat legs.
Now, I'm one of those people who just has regular chair legs on my chair. I never even considered that there was another option.
For most folks, that's fine. But for other folks, they might drag a chair across their floor and think that makes an unpleasant squeaking noise. Or, oh no, my newly refinished floors I painstakingly refinished during my long home confinement.
Yeah, I've been there. We have chairs in our house that don't even have those little sliders on them. Because you buy those little sliders at IKEA, it's great, but then you put them in a drawer and you don't know what drawer it was.
Yeah, or you run out of the ones that are the appropriate shape.
Right. Yep.
And you get lazy. But for whatever reason, maybe your chairs need slidey feet. You could certainly use little felt pads. Those are lovely. But did you know you could also just put cat foot socks on your chair? Because we've done it here at Wonder Fair. And let me tell you, folks, it makes sitting in the chair that makes me feel like I'm riding a cat a lot more pleasurable.
Wow. So you're telling me that even though a chair is made out of wood, now, not always, but often, now that wooden chair could suddenly be transformed into part cat.
Yes, provided that your chair has 4 spindle legs that are probably no wider diameter than maximum an inch and 2 inches or so. Slide one of these pairs on each box. It's only $8 and it comes with 8 tiny cat feet. That's 2 chairs.
2 chairs, usually, unless you have one of those octo chairs.
Yep. If you have an octo chair, we're not judging you, but you're going to need to buy more of these to cover all your chairs. So there's probably some questions about the chair socks. We've used the product for a long time, so we know they work great. You might be wondering, like, can I put the cat foot socks on my cat's feet? We tried that with Dave. He didn't love it. So that answer is probably not, but if your cat's more chill than Dave, maybe so. I believe Rachel once put one on Dave's tail. I might be remembering wrong. And that actually went pretty well. And then he had 5 feet and it was so cute.
Wonderful.
I loved it. Are you adding these to the web
I'm
now?
trying to. We didn't have the
Whoops.
image for them yet.
We'll put them in our website later. wonderfairhomeshopping.com. So anyway, I brought these out today just because as I was doing a little inventory yesterday, I found them again and I thought, this is what people need.
You're right.
That's all I have to say about it. They're just fabulous. You don't really need to
It
say more.
makes moving furniture not only a breeze, but a joy.
Yep. So I pretty much just love them. One side has even toe beans printed on it, so you know which side to put down on your floor. And then the little toe beans stick out of the chair leg. It's so cute. Anyway, that's my infomercial inside of an infomercial.
That was great.
Thank you. We are not selling the calico set.
Oh, that's not the one we have. Thanks.
We have the tabby set because it looks the most like Dave.
Right.
And
is that it?
Yep.
Okay.
That's it.
Got it.
Okay. So how are we doing? Did I have a jump through any questions I need to do?
I didn't see any questions come up.
Okay. Great. Well, if nobody's questioning what we're doing here, that's a huge win because we question it all the time.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing?
And at some point, you've got to stop questioning and you just got to move into doing, regardless of how dumb the idea is. And here we are, wonderfairhomeshopping.com.
That's been a way of life for us for a long time. And, you know, just forging ahead, everybody, forging ahead. So, last for me today, one more pin news for y'all. We talked about retractable dip pins. We talked about witch pins. We talked about making a pin out of a tin can. But we haven't talked about the sort of elegant cousin of both witch pins and folded metal pins and fountain pins. It's really well known to many artists, but it's the Pilot Parallel pen.
Now, I'm familiar with this product because I've worked here for years. And I got to tell you, folks, that this is a real sleeper up in the art supply section. This is the kind of thing that people don't know they're looking for because maybe they've never heard of it. But it's so cheap and affordable, and it does the thing you're looking for. You want to get that big, thick line? Pilot Parallel is the way.
It's amazing.
You got to tell the folks what this pen can do.
So a Pilot Parallel comes in 4 sizes. We sell them individually, but also on our home shopping, we do have a set of all 4 sizes all together so that you can just start rocking right now. But I had mentioned before that I have this antique folded witch pin that's for making larger scale lettering. And that's what parallels will do. They start at, I believe it's like 1.5 millimeters, which is rather large. The average fountain pin's widest nib is about 1.5, 1.9. So that's like a very wide fountain pin, but they go all the way up to 6 millimeter, which is what I have here today. That's very wide. It's probably like a little over a quarter inch.
I'd say it's getting close to half an inch almost.
It's quite wide. So if you're interested in trying any hand lettering signs, maybe in like a traditional sort of an old school vibe, this is a flat blade of metal that creates what many folks would consider like a Gothic lettering style. Those big flat serifs and chunky lines. And pretty much everything you write with it ends up looking like you know what you're doing, which in this time of life would probably make a lot of us feel really good to seem like we know what we're doing. So I'm actually going to start up this parallel.
Oh, we're gonna dig in.
I was going to dig in. It's because I wanted to buy it for myself anyway. I want to try to learn a little bit better hand lettering for signage around the store while we're on semi-hiatus. So all I have to do is open up the nib, and then the kit comes complete with 2 different colors of ink, which I'll explain why in a moment. And it's very easy. You'll hear a little ball rolling around inside the cartridge. That's mixing your ink up for you. Thank you, Pilot. That's thoughtful. So I'm just going to plunge that cartridge onto my parallel. I'm giving it a little squeeze.
You'll want to push that pretty hard. Half the time people are like, my pen's not writing well. And it's like, you know what? You just didn't push hard
You
enough
didn't
on
push
that
hard enough.
cartridge.
We're not used to, because of technology, we think we must be very delicate with our tools, and you got to be a little delicate. But these pivot to analog, which we used to be all about, it can take a little bit of pressure.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes you got to puncture that plastic.
So if you're nasty, and I am, and you just want to get that ink through your nib fast, you can give it a little flick. Thank you, Julie, our customer. Why wouldn't you do that? Because it got a little bit of ink in the cap of my pen. So I'm going to make sure when I open it with the pen cap bottom down so I don't dump any ink that's splattered out. Looks like that actually stayed pretty clean though. So this will be not quite as slow a process of getting it inked up. But maybe while I tap this ink down, Paul, you want to vamp a little about
I can let the
parallels?
folks know at home that I have added both that set of parallel pens to the As Seen on Wonder Fair TV, and I was able to get a few of these calligraphy nib sets up there as well. These cheapies at $11.95 and $16 for these come with 3 nibs each and a tiny bottle of black ink. One is oblique. That's the one that's more expensive. And I don't really know much about where and how oblique is preferred. So unless Meredith can tell us, you're on your own to Google that.
What is the question?
What's oblique about?
Oh, oblique just helps you write at an italic angle. Because the pen is naturally offset to write at an angle, so you can maintain your comfortable handwriting stance, but your letters are all a little more slumpy to the side.
All right.
Because they're going places.
Well, there you go.
And the place they're going is Fancy Town.
If you're getting good with your regular nib holder and you want to switch it up a little, maybe try the oblique.
Here. I know that there's no way for me, because we are not a professional studio home shopping network.
We don't have the budget yet, folks.
But I'm going to write something here. Everybody try to guess what I'm going to write down. And then, I don't know, maybe you'll get it right.
Shout out to Noah Kinney, who joined on Instagram here. We have had some of Noah's work featured in our It Only Takes a Spark gift set, but I'm pretty sure we're sold out of that. Let me check. Noah, designer, artist, Kansas City.
I have one left.
I'm gonna look right now.
Wow, I'm learning as I go. See, I really need to practice.
Sold out on that.
Oh.
So, but hi Noah, thanks for joining us. Hope you're doing well out there.
I'm just realizing I'm having fun by myself here, and I can't show anyone the fun I'm having.
These are thick letters.
Is just thick.
I'm getting a little sneak preview about what's going on here. And I got to tell you, these are pretty thick. And if you're the kind of person who spends a lot of time inking stuff up, maybe this will save you some time, because thick lines are coming down on this page.
Thick lines. I wrote the word thick, but I did a pretty bad job because I've never tested this tool before, and I'm just learning it with you.
I think it's looking good. This almost looks like a little heart, just how it shook down.
Cool.
Okay.
Let me know how
For the folks at home.
For the folks at home. Sorry, YouTube. You're not going to be able to see this, right?
Yeah.
Can you see this?
Let's see here. We're lagging behind a little bit on this broadcast, but I'm guessing it's fine.
Cool.
Thick lines.
Can you see them? They're so thick.
It's very thick. Yeah, we're getting a great look at that right now.
If you hold the pen different ways, it creates different effects, but it can create thin lines and thick lines. Doesn't like to write that direction, so it's a problem.
Hard to write when you're holding a pad of paper in the air in front of an iPad.
But you know what?
Show the folks here on YouTube.
How would I know this was a terrible idea if I didn't try it once?
There you go.
So thick.
It's thick.
So that's super thick. This pen needs a little more time to get fully inked up on its nib, but it's already going great. And so parallel pens, we sell them in a set. We sell them a bunch of ways. Oh, I'm just having fun again. Oh, anyway, I own this pen now. So I will continue teaching myself chunky calligraphy, which is what I just made up as the name for it. I'm really going to stop any minute, but I'm really getting the hang of it now, and it's feeling like I'm killing it.
Yeah, so if you want to get chunky and thick with a 6mm nib, check out that Pilot Parallel. If you don't want the full set of 4, just give us a ring because we've got these in each size, which from my memory is 1.5, 3, 4.5, and 6. I think I got that right. I could be wrong. But if you don't want to be quite as thick as this, slim it down a little. It's all good.
I'm learning a lot.
This is a great tool if you want to be doing like lettering that really pops. I think we're going to get a lot of use out of this 6mm right here in the store because we're always labeling things, writing little labels, and now, boy, are those really going to shine.
I'm figuring it out.
Yeah, we're learning as we go.
So I was going to just show that off because I feel like to bring it all back, long ago, people were carrying around beautiful unicorn horn, retractable dip pins, and that was good. They were making frilly, curvilinear lettering with these. Their nibs were slightly flexible, but finer pointed. But this product that's so affordable by Pilot, you can use all colors of ink in it. You can even blend inks together to create ombre effects. That's a whole other story. But I feel like it's a good example of a product that just like, it's maybe not the most aesthetically pleasing, but as far as bang for your buck,
it's good. $10.
This is the kind of thing that I expect to see like stand the test of time. Fun design fact. Every Parallel is going to come with this weirdly shaped fin on the top. Do you know what that's for, Paul? Pop quiz.
I'm guessing it's for slicing paper.
What?
I don't know.
Okay, was that a real guess or
that was a real guess?
Wrong guess?
I don't know. Tell me what it's for.
Well, it's a roll stop, everybody.
I don't even know what a roll stop is.
Pin Anatomy 101 will give you pieces every day. Many pins will come equipped with clips and things. Clips have a dual purpose because they slide in your pocket. But a roll stop on any other kind of pin is what keeps it from rolling off your table because you don't want your pin falling on your table and making a mess.
So if you're using one of those desks.
Yeah, like if you're a drafts
desk?
person on a slanted drafting
Go ahead,
table.
put that. Look at that. Not rolling at all.
Yeah, it would.
Just stopped.
Don't listen to him. He doesn't know how physics works. It's more like if your pin's slightly your desk is slightly.
Are you saying
angled.
It won't roll? It's not rolling.
Okay, it's not rolling much.
It's just sliding.
It
just slides now. It doesn't roll.
It's definitely designed for a standard, slightly imperfect desk where your pins do roll off, which is very common. So anyway, that's a roll stop. Look around your house for things with a roll stop.
Doesn't stop it from sliding.
Many pins will just have a little nibbling on one side, and you're like, why is there a pimple on one side of my pin? And the answer is because it's a roll stop.
Wow.
Yeah, fun fact.
The more you know.
Yep. That's it. I just wanted to share about inky stuff today. So get inky. You can buy ink from us, or you can make ink if you happen to have a lot of black walnut husks sitting around. Just make your own ink at home,
black walnut's not in season right now. But if you're looking for them, just hit up next door and see if anybody's got them.
Do you mean like their next door, like their literal next door neighbor?
No, I mean the app where lots of local flavor. You could probably find black walnut ink on Nextdoor, right?
Nextdoor is hilarious. There is a lot of local flavor, and someone on there is definitely going to want to take part in your thrilling. Do you have black walnuts for me to make ink of as I begin my homesteading civilization?
Yeah, we did make our own ink a few years back. Haven't yet brought it to Wonder Fair. Haven't really even tested it, but we've got a jar in our cabinet in our kitchen full of black walnut ink that we made.
Do you think that because we made our own ink once, we're designated survivors?
I don't think that's the qualification.
Damn it.
So we got to wrap up because the Instagram live just shuts off at 1 hour and we're just like a minute or two away from there. So thanks for joining us here at the Wonder Fair lunch hour. We're going to go later on for another broadcast, or are we going to skip?
I've been petitioning to do one broadcast a day because I'm an introvert and Paul's an extrovert, and I get tired after this.
So maybe we're just going to stick to one a day.
Jazzed. So we're going to compromise at one a day because then I can prepare better. And we have...
I won't prepare at all. Don't worry.
we're just going to stick to our process because it's working for us.
I'm mostly going to spend my time on tech support
He is
with
the
our
tech support.
e-commerce website.
I'm
So
sorry.
don't worry about me. I've got plenty to do.
Thank you so much. I'm going to continue taking videos of Dave.
Thank you for joining us today. WonderFairHomeshopping.com is where you can peruse many of the things you saw here this afternoon, or just give us a call. Lots of stuff not listed on the website. We're here for you at WonderFair.
Don't at me about how bad I am at pilot parallel pins because it's my first day.
First day. You all can be equally bad.
It's okay to start out bad and get better.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. I want to get back to my practice now. I feel like I just haven't quite got the hang of the turning the hand. Let's give it a whirl. Ooh, that's good.